Well, this is my crack at the life of Bob. And I feel very sorry for Jan and all of Bob's sons. Bob was a lot stronger than me, especially physically. So his passing is a shock and way too soon. Bob was my main playmate as a small child. We didn't have much for toys and other things, but we didn't need much. We had a game called Tester Esther where we would wade out in newly formed ponds in the pasture and dare to go to the deepest point. We rode bicycles a lot, and someone added an extra fork to the bikes, and there was a big learning curve on to ride them again. But they look cool, like choppers. As we got older, Bob and I would get into senseless sibling fights. After a big fight, we didn't speak to each other for a very long time. Dad wondered why we stopped fighting, and we refused to answer him. Maybe our dad missed us getting into fights. Bob initiated us talking to each other again, and we never fought over anything ever again. Bob and I love nature and woodworking in different ways. Bob hunted deer, I didn't. I gardened, he didn't. Bob loved shooting arrows straight up in the air, and he called that the Tipperello. He would shoot them straight up and watch them come down and land, and he tried to get them as close as to where he was standing. And when he was doing that, I would go in the house to avoid being hit in the head with an arrow. But I wasn't interested in shooting arrows. We both skied. Bob was a great downhill skiing. I like to do cross-country skiing on the farm. One time Bob took me to Terry Peak, and I fell down a lot. I did have a good on the kid slope, but I got cocky swishing and I fell down again. After Terry Peak, I had two fingers, or I think they were right here, these two right here. They ached for many years, time to time. Dad was happy I came home from downhill skiing in one piece. We both loved woodworking, but we had a different approach to it. I like to make things out of wood that I thought up in my mind. The pine 100-pound dice, the 300-piece wood coffee table made from small limbs, and the small table made from a tree cross-section are my best work. Bob made Mom and Dad a china hutch that was immaculate. A project that I could never do myself. Bob made countless other great things out of wood. Bob and Norm introduced me to great rock and roll. Elton, Queen, Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath, but I ended up with Fleetwood Mac. Bob tended to drive off the road in the ditch and get stuck in the snow when he was switching a Van Halen 1 tape from side 1 to side 2 while driving. I think that happened 3 times while he was taking us to school. Dad wasn't happy getting his car dug out. Bob found Jan on the internet that may have inspired me to find Laura in a similar way. Well, that's about it. There are many other stories that may come to mind. I have watched some of the footage Jan and Keith have put on Facebook, and I appreciate that. And I especially love the singing. You are doing so much for Bob. I wish I could be at the service, but the 17-hour layover in Tokyo was a bit much. Plus, my butt still hurts from the plane ride from Europe. I have a bad cold too. Once again, this was way too early for this to happen to Bob. Way too early. Our prayers.